I need you and your heart next to mine. Yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. Intoxicated by you, yeah. It's electric. Intoxicate me like you do, yeah. Like you do. It's electric. Can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric. I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric.
Well, that was fun. Alright, let's go ahead and bring down the music a little bit more. There we go, there we go. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Hey Rockstar, try this thought on for size. The hero's path is never easy. It's in facing and defeating the villains that we discover our true strength and purpose. Oh, that's a good quote. Welcome, I am Josafat Emiliano, and this is Hey Rockstar. You're in for a good show. And Miguel, do the thing, yo.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Hey Rockstar, welcome. This is a show devoted to bringing value to those interested in starting a side hustle or side business. Whether you're looking to be dual vocational, full-time, part-time, or sometime, I bet our stories will entertain you, encourage you, and empower you to become the rock star of your business and industry. Well, hello. Welcome to a late night recording live stream of Hey Rockstar. This is episode 94, and we entitled it Defeating the Villain in Your Greatest Story. How about that meme, yo? I'm gonna show the meme off a little again just because I liked it. Here you see the cartoon character, the ghost man, when my life story sucks. And the real villain in my story. It's me, I'm your real villain. All right, let's take these shades. No, welcome to this show. It's just some thoughts that I've had on pursuing life. For those of you who are joining for the first time, Hey Rockstar is a storytelling platform where we highlight stories from leaders and entrepreneurs who share their greatest challenges, just their life lessons, and basically they're just here to bring value that will entertain, encourage, and empower you, especially those of you who are thinking or wanting to live your greatest story as a leader or an entrepreneur. The chance to hear how other people have done it, find your inspiration, and go and become the rock star of your industry, as we like to say in this circle. But one of the greatest things that we realize, and that picture kind of tells the truth of it all, is that for those of you who are on this road of entrepreneurship, of self-development, of learning and building something to help others, one of the hardest things that we have, one of the biggest villains, one of the high level bosses that we have is our own freaking self. We're the ones to blame for our setbacks. We're the ones to blame for lack of moving forward. I mean, I get it. Stuff happens. Situations happen. Life happens. And there really are people who are against our success, and they will attack us, whether they do it viciously, unconsciously, through their own insecurities, whatever the reason. But at the end of the day, the only person you're going to bed with is yourself, unless you're married. But you know what? Maybe tonight I'm focusing on some single people, because I'm starting to reach out, because I know there are some midlife single people who are struggling to find their power and their purpose in this season in their lives, because they think that they missed out on something, or people around them are lying to them. Well, I'm here to tell you that no, right now it's the best time to figure yourself out, figure out what you want. Anyway, let's have fun. If you're on right now, if you're driving, just say hello on each one, on whichever chat you're on whichever live streaming you're on. If you are watching us through Facebook, give us a what's going on or a hello. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, a salute. If you're watching us on YouTube, howdy, because you guys are the true blue. You've been here since episode primero 3-4 years ago, and I thank you for being faithful. But let's talk about this idea of why we tend to get in our own way of success when we see where we want to go, where we work struggling to build, but there's things that kind of get in our way. And I've kind of dropped it down to just three reasons why we are our own worst enemy, why we are the one who sabotages our success. And the very first one, of course, is fear. You know, for some would say fear of failure, but just fear in general, because maybe you just don't know. You want to start a franchise, but you honestly don't know. If you go back and you watch every episode of every interview that I've done with these leaders and mentors, entrepreneurs, you're going to find out one thing in common. All of us, when we first started our business, we didn't know anything about business. But what separated us from the rest is that regardless of not knowing, we still went forward because we had a passion, we had a desire of going in there and figuring it out, because we know one thing: we didn't like where we were at. Maybe the 9 to 5 that you're at right now is just not doing it for you. Maybe they're not paying enough, or maybe you don't hear your voice being utilized. I know that I felt for many years, I just felt like my power is totally underutilized for everything that I was bringing to the table. And that's not just in corporate America. I'm also talking about when I was serving in ministry and getting paid. It felt like I really wasn't making anything. I know some of you are like, well, you don't go into ministry to get paid. I don't subscribe to that false doctrine. I don't subscribe to that false theology. The scripture says the servant is worth its pay. Anyway, so I get it, and that's the reason why we want to move forward. But fear of failure, I believe, at least in these circles, it's more of a fear of looking bad. And out of a personal story on my end, I used to lament whenever I went off and I started doing my own thing, and when I failed in ministry and got back and started working in for my own, doing businesses or just in financial services and other things that I'd ventured in, and I was struggling. I wasn't seeing the fruits of my labor right away, and I was really, whenever the chance came to come home, I really didn't want to come home. Not for hate of anyone, not for anything wrong against my family, but as most of you know, I grew up in a very small, supportive church, really close to this day with many of the patriarchs who I grew up around with at the church that are still faithful members of my dad's church. And and if I would come home, I would purposely show up. I would travel during the week and I would leave during the week, or I would make sure that I would come in on a Monday and I'll leave on a Saturday. I would never stick around for Sunday. I would never stick around to go and say hello to anyone in church. And the real reason why is because I felt like I had nothing to show. I felt like I had nothing to tell people, because they were going to ask, where have you been, Josafat? What have you been up to? Tell us your story. And I didn't have any success to give them. I was still in the grind. I was still in the struggle, and that was kind of an embarrassing. I know now that is a bad narrative. That's a lie. People were proud of me. People were praying for me, but yet I felt like such a loser because I wasn't seeing any fruits to my results. That's the reason that was keeping me from coming around to see people that knew me, just because I didn't want to tell them, well, heck, I've been gone for so many years and I have nothing to show for that. I've lost this, I've lost that. And because today, now that I'm back in Andrews, America, now that I've been close and I've been going to visit my dad's church and helping him out whenever I can, I see these same people, and they're loving. They don't even ask. They don't care about that I haven't built anything, because to them they're just happy to see me. They're happy that whenever I show up, I give them my fruit, I give them my talents, and they know that I'm busy doing things. 'Cause my dad tells them all the stuff that I'm working on. And so I realized I had to get away, detach from that need of approval of others. Why did I have that approval? Well, maybe it's that fear of failure. Well, dang it. Maybe it's not so much a fear of failure, it's the fear that I have nothing to show, and that I've wasted all this time, which I believe now has not been a waste of my time. It's been a chance for me to grow. It's been a chance for me to develop. I am definitely not the same person today that I was 7 years ago, or when I first went to Nashville. Definitely not the same person I was today when I first left Little Andrews to go off into the world and do missions for 5, 6 years. Definitely not the same boy that grew up here in West Texas and went off to study at Southwestern, and life just changed. I have gone through so much. I have grown through so many different areas. I've experienced so many things, so many victories, so many losses. I've learned lessons. And that's now what I'm bringing, the wisdom of what I'm now have learned. I definitely have learned what not to do. And so now I'm bringing that to the table to those who are seeking mentorship, seeking guidance, who want to pursue ministry, who want to pursue bivocation of entrepreneurship and ministry. But anyway, fear of failure is one of the main reasons why we tend to sabotage ourselves, because we don't want to look bad, or we definitely are scared of lack, or we're scared of pain, of a pain that we haven't even felt yet. But I got news for you, rock star. With pain comes strength, growth. The pain helps us mature. All right. Second reason why I believe that a lot of us become our worst villain, and we self-sabotage. Second reason is, and it's funny because I was talking to a coach today. We had a coaching session, and she mentioned that she wanted to give a lecture on imposter syndrome. If anyone knows imposter syndrome, it's your boy right here. The fear of being found out. Basically, The fear of being found out that I am a scam, that I'm a fraud, that I am not who I pertain to be. And a lot of us have that, especially when we were going and building something new. I love the world that I'm entering as a speaker, as a coach, as a life consultant, building up men and women who want to live their greatest story so that they can find fulfillment and leave legacy. And even and also with the financial services, when I first went in, I didn't know anything. I didn't want anyone to find out, oh man, look at his bank account, he is not as rich as he was as he teaches to be. And it wasn't about teaching riches, it was teaching about understanding how money works. And I was learning about money. I learned the rules of money. But going back to the imposter syndrome, when I first entered into the world of speaker, one of the teachers or one of the workshops that I went through, that they had to basically hit a whole lecture and a whole lesson on that, because a lot of us, it is a true crutch. I love what Raul from Tag Talk says. He says, and this tag alone has helped me overcome imposter syndrome. But he says that your wisdom is not common knowledge. You see, the way that I've lived my life, the way that I've traveled, that I've seen the world, that I've tasted and seen the goodness of God around the globe is not common knowledge with everyone around me. What you have gone through, the way you overcame that obstacle, that loss, that pain, that burden, that whatever turmoil you have overcome, the wisdom that you grew from that you cultivated from that is not common knowledge. That is your wisdom. That is your gift to give. That is your gift to serve. That is your right to help others learn that, so that they don't have to repeat the same things that we've gone through, that you have had to go through. So imposter syndrome is the one thing that little voice inside us is constantly nagging and letting us say, you're not good enough. You're not the right person for the job. Someone should do it better. If you guys watched my Sozo video, I want to say 2 shows ago, when I was sharing my healing behind forgiveness, that was the one thing, I guess the one main obstacle that I had to forgive my little Josafat for, because that one moment he declared, he says, you have the face of a nobody. Everyone else is important, but not you. You're nothing. Basically, he was saying that anyone else is worthy of this, but not I. How dare you think that you deserve that? I don't know where I got that lie from. I don't know why, but I agreed to it. And that subconsciously was hidden away in me. And it took 30 years of my life before I discovered failing and struggling and going, when I finally had to go do some of the hard stuff and forgive everyone and their mother, until I finally came to me. There's no one else left to forgive. And then I was able to look inward and say, oh, there is one big baby, one main person I need to forgive. And that was myself, for agreeing that I wasn't good enough, that I was the wrong person, that I was disqualified before I even had a chance to step into the ring. You see, Rockstar, another thing that Raul says is that your gifts are not for you. They're for others. You can sing awesome. You can play awesome. You know about media, social media. You know how to entertain. You know how to educate. You know how to coach. You know how to do whatever. That gift is not for you. It's not for you. It's for others. You see, we are connected to the vine, or we are the vine, and the fruit that we produce, the vine doesn't need it. The tree doesn't need its own fruit. The tree grows the fruit so that others can be nourished by that fruit. And regardless, you are the most qualified person to tell your story, to teach your life, to teach your experiences, to let the world know what you've gone through. What's that great scripture? And they overcame by the blood of the Lamb, and they were able to overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. They shared their story. Stories are powerful, yo. Even just jumping on here. Hey, if you guys want to share your story and you don't know how, and you're like, you know what, I love what Josafat does with Hey Rockstar. If you're interested, I will teach you guys how to do it. But the deal is, you got to know that what you have is definitely worth our time and others' time. You are not the imposter. If it's burning in you to get up and speak, if it's burning in you to go off and drive, if it's burning in you to create, if it's burning in you to lead, to preach, whatever that burning, yearning calling, don't self-sabotage and disqualify yourself from the ring, from the fight. Just go out there and swing. Take your shot, baby. Take your shots. Another thing, and this is the third reason why we tend to be our biggest villains, or we tend to sabotage, and that's perfectionism. A lot of people, I can't say that I've really struggled with this. I do believe in excellence. And there have been times where I have like waited till something was not perfect, but at least held up to the standard that I know that I could do, that I could create, that I could release. However, there's some who use that as a crutch. The fact that not every dot is not every I is dotted, not every T is crossed, that we are just constantly picking and fine-tuning and making it too perfect. I remember back when I was a youth pastor, there was one girl that I was counseling, and because she felt, or she was taught, that she could never be Christ-like here on earth, she'll never reach that perfection. Her goal in life was to be so perfect that God would accept her as she is. And I'm like, well, he has accepted you as you are. And she couldn't grasp in her mind the awesomeness of divine exchange, or that's, if you guys, I'm not gonna go into deep theology, but justification and glorification and sanctification. Those, I did 3 all-nighters once to create a thesis to explain the difference of those 3 for Dr. Wyckoff for Southwestern, and so I know how those things work. But basically, to simplify it all, what Christ did and you accepted as a gift was enough to be able to go before the Father. And if you know the promises, and now that you know that I'm a student of the promises, I can quote scripture all day on why we don't have to be perfect. It is He who perfected us before the Father. But anyway, it was just the whole struggle, and that struggle brought her back to just a crutch, or just not a crutch, a feeling of oh man, the word escaped me. When you just paralyzed, it's just a paralyzing fear of whatever she was doing was not enough, because she could never by herself be perfect. She wanted to be perfect. She tried to be perfect, and I'm like, it's not about being perfect. It's about the journey and trusting that He's done the work, and you just give glory. And so that's kind of how I also relate in your journey as an entrepreneur. Newsflash, in case you didn't know this, 85 to 90% of first-time businesses fail. Now, as an entrepreneur, your goal is to build, create, and possibly sell it. But I know that especially my mentors, they have tried so many things and failed so many times before finding this that's now growing. And this is gone. And what they're doing now, as my mentor, is growing, but yet they want to do more. They're constantly doing more, creating more. It's not enough just doing one thing. It's about doing more, because it's in their nature to build, to create, to bring value to something, and then offer it, sell it, whatever. It's part of their nature. Perfectionism will paralyze you from living the best life, from living your best life, from living your greatest story. And so to recap, 3 ways that we entrepreneurs tend to sabotage our story. We become the villain of our story, and we can't live our greatest story because this villain, this boss, is in the way. First one, it's because we have that fear, or most importantly, fear of failure. Second, because of that imposter syndrome, we don't feel like we are the right one for the job. And the third one is for perfectionism. We feel that unless it's the most beautiful, perfect thing, it's not worth revealing. But that's not true. The beauty of the artist. Right now, I'm just thinking of the Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. And he took that quote from Pablo Picasso. He says, good artists borrow, great artists steal. But the whole premise is when you want to create some kind of artwork, you're going to start by copying something that you like. There is some artist that has really, really just stirred your juices, and you want to try to copy and maybe do a paint by numbers or whatever. But no matter how good the counterfeit, if it's done by hand, no matter how good the counterfeit artist, there's always something off, just a little off of the original. But that something, which some people see that as a mistake, is actually, that's your voice, that's your signature. And he teaches on building on that imperfection is what makes you unique. So as an artist, don't be scared of perfection. Don't try to do exactly like everyone else. Do it your way. And that quirkiness, that weirdness, that uniqueness, that style that you bring to it, that flavor that you bring to it is your voice, is your unique style. That's what's going to bring you and attract the right audience, the right client, the right niche market is going to look for you because of that one little piece that's off of the original, because that is your signature. That is you, baby. That's your soul. And that's what we're looking for. That's your heart. That's what we want. We want to hear your heart. We want to follow your heart. We want to be a part of whatever you have. So just do it. Don't wait to be perfect. All right. Man, that was good. Oh, look who's up. Look who's up. Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Love you, brother. Love you. I'm so sorry that this last time I was in California, we weren't able to connect. I was in for a quick thing and didn't get a chance to stick around longer. But most definitely, I need to just make time to go and see my California people like that. I have more and more, I'm getting more and more friends and connections in California than I am here in Tennessee and in Texas. What's up with that? All right. I'm not going to leave you with that. Here's some things that you can do. Here's some steps that you can do to help you become, I don't know why my camera was starting to blink at me. Did I accidentally do something? Oh, I probably did this. My bad. I got a new camera, y'all. It's the Insta 360 link. It's great for streaming, and anything else. And I love that it's got a little gimbal that's supposed to follow me. Yes, it follows me around. You little stalker. Sorry, I love you. I love you, gimbal. Anyway, so I wanted to leave you with 3 things that you can do now, because you're like, all right, I'm tired of being the villain. What can I do so that I can start working on me, so I can live my greatest story? Because I want to find fulfillment. I want to leave legacy. So the first thing that you can do, and this is something every entrepreneur should be doing, at least I believe so, is you need to learn the art of reflection and self-awareness. Through a lot of exercises, a lot of things that I've done with my coaches, they've brought a light to a lot in my life. And once I have that self-awareness, you see, once I became aware of little Josafat's voice, the words he used, I was able to reflect, and then I had to do the forgive, release, and bless to myself. If you want to know more about that story, go back 2 episodes to Sozo. And speaking of reflection, once I understood and brought awareness to it, I was able to set a plan on creating the right habits to break free from it. For some, it's as simple as affirmations, speaking into existence what you want, speaking to life what you want. But one of the easiest and best ways that I found to reflect is in the written format. I journal like no one's business. And as a matter of fact, I'm working on a little program, but I'm just gonna give it away to you guys because I think you shouldn't wait till I have something. But here's what you do. Go ahead and get yourself 3 journals. Get yourself 3 journals at any kind. I want to design a few for the program that I'm creating for goal setting and purpose setting. But the first journal, you draw a lock on it. You draw a lock on it. On the second journal on the front, you put a little heart or a big heart, however you want to. And then on the third journal, you put I like to put like a treasure map. Like lines and X marks the spot, like a pirate. And if you want to know why, you got to go back to episode primero, a pirate rock star. It's part of my story. It's part of my life. There's a pirate in there. Anyway, so the first one, the one with the lock, that's where I do my shadow working. Now, I if you guys want to know more about shadow working, I probably would do a whole episode on that alone. I was talking to a friend of mine. We were talking about podcast stuff and I mentioned shadow working. And he's like, you know what? I've heard about that. I want to learn more about that. And I know you're a believer like me, Josafat. How did you do it without getting into problems? And I'll share that. I'll share how I do shadow working. But I'm going to kind of briefly tell you what I do. And the reason why I put a lock on it is not because I'm trying to hide away or store away bad things. But it's basically, it's so I know that it's for me. It's keeping away safe from anyone else. But it's a visual. And there's no real lock on there. But what you do, and usually at nights when, especially those of you who have a lot of just restless nights because your mind is constantly going with thoughts of things you got to work on, or things that have you forgotten, or things that are just bugging you. You just have that thought process on repeat. One thing I would really suggest and just encourage you is in that journal, when you're getting ready to go to sleep, just start all those thoughts, put them out, write them out there. Good, bad, ugly, the things that worry you, the things you're ashamed of, the things that you are scared of, things that whatever it is that is lurking in your shadows, something that you might be embarrassed or just are it's wearing you out. Write it down. Write it down. Because the reason why we repeat this is because there's something of importance in it. Or there's a reason why it keeps being replayed, because we don't want to forget it. It is that important. So write it down. And once you've written it down and write everything, and I've done it. I mean, it's sometimes it's ugly. I get truthful on this thing. And I'm not ashamed of it, because that is a part of me. That shadow is a part of me. And I'm not, and for some reason, if God Almighty deemed it okay for this to be part of me, and it won't, then I believe that it won't hinder me either, and I can find power and strength from it. But anyway, I'll explain more about that whenever I do the episode on shadow working, whenever that is. But at the moment, once you have the thoughts down, once you have all these thoughts that are just occupying space in your head and just not giving you rest at all, put it down and then say, all right, I have you here. So now I give my brain permission to stop thinking about you, because you are safely stored here where I can come back to you if I need to. And then you close it and you put it wherever you want to put it. But you thank yourself, but give yourself permission to say, now brain, you have my permission to release these. Don't worry about it. We have them recorded. We have them safely put away. And then you get the one with the heart. This one's not many people practice this. But on the heart, you open it up and you start practicing gratitude. I mean, great gratitude for everything, we'll obviously start with like the big things, like thank you, Jesus, for this food, or thank you for water. Thank you for the roof. Thank you for family. Thank you for my dog, my cat. Thank you for love. Thank you for, and then eventually you start getting to the, even little things like, thank you that I have lived this long. Thank you that I can actually breathe, or that I actually have sight, or that I have all 5 phalanges on my fingers and on my toes, because I know people who don't, and yet they're more grateful than me. But I thank you that I have this, and don't be ashamed. Thank you that I can whistle. Thank you that I have had a creative time. Thank you that I've lived this long. Just practice gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And what that begins to do, it begins to open your eyes to the miraculous that is your life. And you realize that you have had daily miracles in your life every day. You've taken risk and yet you've succeeded. You are one in a million, one in a billion. And you're unique and you are awesome because of that. And you just, that gratitude practicing is what fuels the desire and possibilities for future things. And so you're just there practicing gratitude, 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 gratitude. And then on that one, you go to the next one. And so right now and both the shadow working and the gratitude are parts of self-reflection and awareness, self-awareness and reflection. So that's one thing that you can do for to move forward and overcome your villain and stop being the villain of your story. Second thing, and the third notebook falls into this one. Second thing is you need to learn to set realistic goals and priorities. Now, some of you have never written a goal in your life. You have wishes. Denzel Washington says it. A goal not written is just a dream. It's just a wish. Or a dream not written is not a goal, but a wish. Something like that. I probably mutilated it. I need to look it up for a rock star quote. Habakkuk, the prophet Habakkuk, God told the prophet, to write the vision so that the runner can run with it. There's another, I want to say, another prophet said that my people perish for lack of vision, for lack of goal, because they don't see it. They don't know what you're running for. And a lot of us simply, we don't know what we want. We haven't given ourselves permission. That was my story. I never knew I could give myself permission to want something. All right. So we've already covered the two notebooks. The third notebook is the treasure map. And it's the treasure map because that's when you're going to make the plan. That's when you're going to put down the goal that you want to live. Man, what time is it? I'm already at 37. This is good stuff. This is some good stuff. You know what? I want to share with you a speaker. One of my favorite speakers, Jim Rohn, and he has many different goal setting workshops and seminars that you can find. But one of my favorite ones is when you do the 21. And I took notes of it. I typed them out here. And I literally went back to listen to it, and I just kind of jotted down on how he explains it. And I'm going to explain to you real quick, and that way, if you need to, you can always rewind this and watch this as much as you want. But the first thing he says is grab a notebook. So you already got your treasure map notebook there, and you're like, all right, I got my notebook. And so I'm just going to read it, what I typed down here. He's like, grab a notebook, get a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen. Why pen? Because pencil, you'll be tempted to erase it that easily. A pen. And if you make a mistake, we'll just keep it there. Anyway, number 2. That wasn't on the notes. That's just what it is. So grab a notebook. 2, set aside some time. That's important. I mean, if this is your life, if this is what you're working for, then you need to give it as much respect and time. It's not something you should just do in passing. Like, I'm going to sit down. I got a minute between commercial breaks. Or I just finished binge watching. So before I pick my other binge watching, I can do 5 minutes. No. Get serious. I if you want to, or maybe on your first day off, or take a day off. Take a day off, wake up, do some stretching, do some meditating, do something physical, prepare your coffee or your tea, and then when you're ready to sit down, say, all right, now I'm going to take time to do this. Third, so you write down 21 things you want. Let me read exactly. List 21 things you want to achieve, acquire, or experience in your life. These can be short-term or long-term goals, big or small desires. The idea is to brainstorm and be as specific as possible. They can be related to different aspects of life, such as a career, finances, relationships, personal development, or so on. So, and he even kind of said when I was listening, is when you first start, it's going to be easy, but it kind of gets harder once you get down to the 21st one, because you then pulling from What else do I want? What else do I want? And a lot of us will start thinking about, well, I want this for my mom, or I want this for my dad, or I want this for my kids. You know what? I'm giving you permission to put yourself first this time. Put your desire first. Because regardless, you're doing this, you're going to create this, you're going to go for this goal, because in the end, the fruits, remember, the fruit is not yours, it's for your family. You're going to create fruit. Why? But you got to put yourself first. You got to nourish yourself first. Create this goal for you. And once you find yourself going through it and creating the momentum, then you're going to produce fruit. And then you're going to take care of your family and your mom and your kids and all that stuff. So I'm giving you permission on these 21 to put yourself first. Write goals for you. All right, number 4, no filtering. Don't filter or prioritize the items as you write them down. Just let the thoughts flow freely. Yeah, just go, release, and just go as it comes out. There's no order, no rhyme, no reason. It's just, I want this. Pretend you are the kid. And man, I'm dating myself. That the Toys R Us, which is now out of business, when they used to send out the catalog a few months before Christmas, and it'd come to our house, and me and my siblings, we would sit there and we would get different color markers, and that's how you knew what you wanted. And you would go and you would circle whatever you wanted in that marker. Pretend you're that kid and you're just circling the great catalog of life. What do you want? And write it down without thought or reason. You weren't thinking about, oh, that bike is $500, or that Barbie dream house is $1,000. You're just like, it's pretty, I want it. I'm gonna circle it. All right. So be like a kid. All right. Next thing, review and reflect. So after you've listed your 21 desires, take a moment to review the list. And you may notice some patterns or reoccurring themes among your goals. Number 6, prioritize. So from the list, select 1 to 3 items that are most important to you at this moment. These will be your top priorities. All right, so you get that? After you made your list, then you can kind of say, all right, these kind of align. And then you pick the top 3 or 4 you want. I pick 5 just because I like 5s. But let's say, for the sake of simplicity, keep the top 3, like these are the most important ones right now. And then number 7 is you make a plan. From the top priority, you've chosen, create a plan or set specific actions you can take to work toward them. Having a plan makes it more likely that you'll take necessary steps to achieve. And that's kind of, hold on. Yeah, that's kind of how a lot of self-development works. Coaches that I've worked with, they say, all right, we're going to build the character that you want. And actually, Albert hit this. You're going to build the character that you want. You're going to create them. You're going to wish them. You're going to say, this is my desired effect. And then, of course, you got to take inventory where you're at and look at yourself in the mirror. Take a long, hard look and say, all right, how can this guy become this guy? What am I willing to give up to be there? What am I willing to sacrifice to be? What price am I willing to pay to become this person? Does it hurt me? And if you can't see yourself giving up anything, then obviously the pain is not strong enough for you to reach this goal. So this might not be one of the most important goals for you right now. Pick something that you realize, I need that. I want that. I need that. I gotta have that. And I'm willing to give this up for that. I'm willing to change this for that. I'm willing to do this to get that. Create these habits to get to that person. That's how you start building these goals. And since you decluttered your mind from all the noise and you've practiced yourself with gratitude, so you are now in belief mode, then when you start creating this plan, this map, it becomes a heck yeah, this is possible. This is doable. This is what I'm going to do. And you know what? Regardless of what happens, I'm walking that way. We're going to figure out how to get there. That's how that's how I would do the 3 books on finding purpose. And of course, the final thing. Okay, so that's what I say. 3 things to help you overcome the villain of your story. To stop being the villain of your story is, the first one is you practice self-awareness and reflection, and then you set realistic goals and prioritize them. And then the last one, and this you've already heard me mention. I've mentioned several people in my life that I've been turning to. I have mentors, I have coaches, I have people who are 5, 10, 20 years ahead of me where I want to go, and I'm following their lead. I'm listening to them. I'm growing under them. So the last thing to help you stop becoming the villain of your life is to seek mentorship and guidance. Or, sorry, seek support and accountability. That's what I wrote it down. Seek support and accountability through mentors, through best friends, people who are going to hold you accountable. I love what Albert was talking about, the guy from my last show. If you haven't had a chance to check out his show, go for it. I fixed the microphone issue, so it shouldn't be as loud today as that one was. But he talked about he had to find men that said, you know what? It's not about what you've done. It's about what you're committing to do. It's about making that commitment to yourself and doing it. I don't even care if it's like as simple as I'm going to wear clean socks every day. Especially if you struggle with that, you're committing to that. And every morning you got to make sure you have a clean pair of socks. And then when you run out, you got to make sure you got to wash them things so you can have clean socks, because you're sticking to that commitment, because you're building that habit. Clean socks, I don't know, just something I pull out of the air. But especially when it comes to time, I love what they talk about that. If you committed to being here at this time, then I don't care if traffic was bad. I don't care if we forgive you. Like, really, we're late because of traffic, and we start with just kind of, okay, it's okay. It's okay that you lied to us. It's okay that you couldn't stick to your own commitment. If that's something that stings, no, we hold people accountable. It's not that you didn't do it. It's just that you didn't do what you said you're going to do. That's a tough one for any walk. But you pick the people that you want to help you, hold you accountable to what you are willing to commit to do. Remember what price you're willing to pay to be here. So anyway, those are just 3 simple ways, and there's so much more, and I gave you way more, especially when it comes to shadow working and goal setting. I gave you so much fun stuff. These are all tools that I've been learning to use to grow my business, to grow my speaking and my mentorship business, just to grow in this area. These are some powerful tools, because I know that the people that I'm called to serve, these single midlife men of faith that just need someone to help hear them out as they're trying to find their purpose. They're trying to find their power in this moment of their lives, in this singleness in their life, while they're trying to find that, because in the end, it's all about helping them live their greatest story to find fulfillment and leave legacy. And if they want to be entrepreneurs, then it's so that they can then go and become the rock star of their industry. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me for these 40 minutes with episode 94, Defeating the Villain in Your Greatest Story. If you have a guest, if you would like to be a guest, if you are a leader or an entrepreneur and you would like to share your story, please reach out to me. I'm starting to book more through the holidays. I also have some speakers and coaches that I need to get in on this. I want to share your stories. Although I love talking and bringing this, I don't mind sharing my platform, because in the end, it's about bringing value for those who are hungry to live their greatest story as a leader or an entrepreneur. So until next time, come to you from Andrews, America. Until next time, just much love and many blessings. Oh, I gotta say that again, but with the shades right. Yeah. So until next time, I'm Josafat Emiliano, your host of Hey Rockstar. Until next time, much love and many blessings.